ఒకడున్నాడు, చాలా కష్టాల్లో ఉన్నాడు, ధనం కావాలి ధనం కావాలి, చాలా డబ్బు కావాలని బెంగ పెట్టుకుంటూ ఉంటాడు. ఏ దేవతలకైనా మొక్కుకుంటూ ఉంటే ఎప్పుడో ఏ దేవత అయినా వచ్చి నాకు ధనం ఇస్తాడేమో అని ఆశ కొద్దీ ఎదురు చూస్తూ ఉంటాడు. ఎవరు నాకు ఇస్తారు, ఎవరు నాకు ఇస్తారు? రాజుని అడగనా, మంత్రిని అడగనా, ధనవంతులను అడగనా, దాతలను అడగనా అని అందరినీ అడిగితే అడగాలని ఊరికే తాపత్రయపడుతూ ధనానికి ఇచ్చేవాడి కోసం ఎదురు చూస్తూ ఉంటాడు. సరే పొద్దున్నే బయటకు వచ్చాడు. భగవంతుడి ప్రార్థన చేసుకుని బయటకు రాగానే తన వీధిలో పెద్ద ఆ చివర బంగారపు రథం, దానికి 4 గుర్రాలు తెల్లనివి, దాని మీద దివ్య తేజస్సులతో ఉండే ఒక మహాపురుషుడు రత్న కిరీటాలు వేసుకున్న దేవుడు స్వరూపంతో ఉన్నాడు. ఆయన వస్తాడు. శభాష్, ఈయన అడిగితే నా దరిద్రం పోతుంది, ఎవరో తెలియదు ఇలా వస్తున్నాడు, నాకు పొద్దున్నే దర్శనం అయింది మహానుభావుడు, ఈ దివ్య పురుషుడు ఎవడో ఇంద్రుడై ఉండొచ్చు అని అనుకుని అడగడానికి సిద్ధంగా, మనసులో అడుక్కోవడానికి సిద్ధపడి ఎలా అడగాలి ఏమిటని అడుగుతూ ఎదురు చూస్తూ ఉంటాడు. నెమ్మదిగా అతను వచ్చేసి ఆ గుర్రాలు అక్కడ ఆగిపోతాయి. రథం ఆగుతుంది. రథం ఆగి ఆ దివ్య పురుషుడు అంటే దయచేయండి, నమస్కారం చేయండి అని ఈయన పిలుస్తాడు. గృహస్థు ఈ ఇంట్లోకి వస్తాడు. ఆయన ఇంట్లోకి వచ్చి ఇలా చుట్టూ చూసి నాకు ఏమిస్తావో ఇయ్యమంటాడు. ఏమిటి నన్ను నీకేం కావాలంటాడేమో అనుకున్నా నేను. నాకు ఏమిస్తావో ఇయ్యమని చెప్పి ఇలా చేతికి దోశలు పట్టుకుంటాడు. అప్పుడే పొలం నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి 10 బస్తాల ధాన్యం ఆ గదిలో పోసి ఉంది. అందులోంచి నీకు నేనేం ఇవ్వగలను అని నా అల్పత్వం తెలియాలి కదా, నేను లేను కష్టంలో ఉన్నానని తెలియాలి కదా ఆయనకి అనుకుని ఒక్క ధాన్యపు గింజ తీసుకెళ్ళి ఆయన చేతిలో వేశాడు. ఆ ధాన్యపు గింజ చూసి తల పంకించి ఆ మహాపురుషుడు సరే అని చెప్పి గబగ నవ్వుకుని వెళ్ళిపోయి రథం ఎక్కాడు, వెళ్ళిపోయాడు. ఆశ్చర్యంగా వచ్చాడు. ఏదో నాకు ఇస్తాడని ఆశ పెట్టుకున్నాను, ఈయన నన్నేమిస్తావని నన్ను అడిగి ఒక ధాన్యం గింజ ఇస్తే తల పంకించి చిరునవ్వున వెళ్ళిపోయినాడు. నా కర్మ నాకు వచ్చే యోగం లేదు కాబోలు, నా దరిద్రం నాకు తప్పదు కాబోలు నేను ఇతరులు లోపలికి వస్తాను. ఆ ధాన్యపు రాశి మీద ఒకే ఒక్క బంగారపు ధాన్యపు గింజ కనిపిస్తుంది. వెరుస్తుంది, చూస్తే బంగారపు ధాన్యపు గింజ. ఒక గింజ ఇచ్చాడు కదా, ఒక గింజ. ఈ రాశి అంతా ఇచ్చుంటే అది ఇచ్చే ఉండేవాడేమో, నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు కదా. అయ్యో, కాబట్టి తాత్పర్యం ఏంటంటే మనకి భగవంతుడు ఇవ్వడానికని ఎప్పుడూ ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉంటాడు. ఆయనకి మన దగ్గర నుంచి తీసుకునే ప్రయత్నం కాదు, ఎప్పుడు మనకి ఇవ్వాలి ఇతరికి. నా బిడ్డలు కదా వీళ్ళకి అష్టైశ్వర్యాలు ఎందుకు ఇవ్వకూడదు, మరొక రాజ్యం ఎందుకు ఇవ్వకూడదు, భోగభాగ్యాలు ఎందుకు ఇవ్వకూడదు, అక్కడికి దివ్యరథం ఎక్కించి మళ్ళీ నా ధామానికి తీసుకురావచ్చు కదా వీళ్ళని అక్కడి నుంచి అనేదే ఆయన అనుగ్రహం. దానికి కావలసినటువంటి విధి విధానాలు మన చేత చేయించడం కోసమని ఏ పని చేస్తే ఆయన మనం అనుకున్నట్టు మనం అలా పెడతామో,
ఎలిజిబిలిటీ
వస్తుందో దానికోసం ఆయన నిత్య ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉంటాడు. ఇది ఈశ్వర లక్షణం. అది తెలియడమే మహాభాగ్యం. ఇది తెలిసినవాడు ఇంద్రుడు, ఇది తెలిసినవాడు వరుణుడు, ఇది తెలిసినవాడే కుబేరుడు, ఇది తెలిసినవాడే ఈశ్వరుడు భక్తుడు. రహస్యం ఇది, చాలా చిన్న విషయం. అది నేను ఎప్పుడు అంటూ ఉంటాను, భగవంతుడు ఇవ్వకపోతే మనకి ఏముంది, ఇచ్చాడు కాబట్టి మనకు ఉంది అనుకుంటున్నాం. ఇచ్చి కూడా నేను నీకు ఇచ్చినట్టే నువ్వు కూడా ఇవ్వడం నేర్చుకో, నువ్వు నేను ఒకటైపోతాం అని అంటాడు ఆయన. అలాగని గృహస్థు భార్య పిల్లలు 10 రూపాయలు సంపాదించుకోవడం అనేటువంటి వృత్తిలో సామాన్య జీవనం చేసిన గృహస్థు దానం చేయగలుగుతాడు, కానీ త్యాగం చేయలేకపోవచ్చు. అదే ఎక్కువ. త్యాగం చేయకపోయినా దానమైనా చేయమని అంటాడు, చాలు. ఈ ఈ 2.5 సంవత్సరాల్లో ఎంత ఇచ్చాను. సముద్ర వాళ్ళు 10,000 అడిగితే 10,000 ఇవ్వగలుగుతున్నాను నేను. ఇక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది కాబట్టి. లేకపోతే వాళ్ళు ఏదో నేను పుస్తకం రాసుకుంటున్నాను, పబ్లికేషన్, పండితుడే చదువుకున్నవాడు ఏమి డబ్బు లేదు, పెన్షన్ వస్తుందండి నా దగ్గరే ఉంది, రాసుకో, ప్రింట్ చేయాలి, నాకు కళ్ళతో చూడం. సరే నేను ఇదిగో 3,000 రూపాయలు ఇస్తాను, ఇంకా వారి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి వీళ్ళ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి చెప్పేవాడిని. పెద్దవాడిని అయిపోయాను, అందరి చోటు తిరగలేకుండా ఉన్నాను, ఎవరిని అడగడానికి మొహమాటంగా ఉంటుంది. మీ దగ్గరికి వచ్చాను అంటే ఎంత కాదు, దాని మీద మొత్తం అంతా ఎస్టిమేషన్ ఇస్తే 9,600 అవుతుందని చెప్పారండి. ఇక మీ దయ 10,000 ఇచ్చి పంపిస్తాను. నాకు ఆనందంగా ఉంది. అది ఇక్కడి నుంచి అక్కడ ఇవ్వడం ఏమక్కలేదు. మామూలు గుడ్డలు కట్టుకుంటున్నారు, ఇంత చారానం తింటున్నారు, ఒక్క అలవాట్లేదు వాళ్ళకి. అది ఐశ్వర్యం కాదా? పిల్లలు ఉత్తములైన పిల్లల కంటే ఇక రాజ్యం కంటే గొప్ప వస్తువు అది. రాజ్యం లభించవచ్చు కానీ ఉత్తముడైన కొడుకు, మంచి పిల్లలు రావడానికి.
వాళ్ళు అందులో గురువులని చిన్న పిల్లల దగ్గర నుంచి అసలు ఎలా వస్తుందండి? మీరు ఎన్ని కోట్లు సంపాదిస్తే ఎట్లా వస్తుంది?
అది చాలా అదృష్టం, భగవంతుల అనుగ్రహం. ఆయన దయ ఉంటేనే ఐశ్వర్యంతో పాటు గుణం కూడా రావాలి. అందుకనే బంగారానికి సువాసన కూడా కలిసింది అని అంటారు. ఎందుకంటే అమెరికాకి వెళ్ళి కోట్ల కొద్ది డాలర్ సంపాదించి రూపాయి దానం చేయాలి కష్టపడుతున్న వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళకి ఏమి రాలే. ఉన్నదే పిల్లలు, భగవంతుడు ఇచ్చిన పిల్లలు 2, 3, వాళ్ళని దగ్గర పెట్టుకోవడం, తరచూ చూస్తూ ఉండడం, వాళ్ళ పిల్లల్ని చూడడం కంటే వాళ్ళందరూ మంచివాళ్ళు అయి ఉండడం, ఎన్ని ఒక చక్రవర్తికి లేని భాగ్యం ఇంకేం కావాలి. దేర్ ఈస్ ఎన్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఆఫ్ సెల్ఫిష్నెస్, కైండ్ ఆఫ్ బీయింగ్ హ్యాపీ because he has won. A person winning something and then being happy about it, nothing noble in it. Actually asking for somebody's success, being happy about it is called impersonal happiness. Satish should win this cricket, so I am happy about it. That is impersonal. It is much more nobler than asking for personal. That is a very big difference. And in this there is a kind of national pride involved. That is why even our cardiologist was having a BP. Till you that kind of tension, yes. It's good. I like it. No, it doesn't matter. You can have your BP. Diastolic 120, it doesn't matter. And pulse rate 120, it doesn't matter. If it is for a national purpose, it's nobility. I mean, it should be impersonal. It seems a Brahmin was a great upasaka. He was doing Devi Puja regularly. He always used to say, Sarve Jana Suguna Bhavantu, Sarve Jana Suguna Bhavantu. Somebody said, this is such a great man, he does this puja, always he says, Sarve Jana Suguna Bhavantu. He doesn't say anything about himself. And somebody leaked out the secret. His 4 sons are in the survey of India. That's a good example. How to be personal, impersonal. Am I clear? So there should be a national pride involved. There should be somebody's happiness involved. The pride, victory goes to somebody. The pride goes to somebody, victory goes to somebody, happiness goes to you. And this is a context in which most of our sources of happiness must be checked. Like the measurements of a bag are checked when hand baggage is, cabin baggage is passed, the size of it. So checking up the quality of your happiness is another very important point. I feel happy when somebody is happy. The extreme opposite is I feel very unhappy when somebody is happy. From that, I'm not concerned about it. I want only my happiness. I'm a contented man. I don't want any kind of special favors. I don't even look at others. I have no attachment to the others. People say in this, they use a respectable word. I'm not attached to anyone, including the country, society, or God. That's what exactly they mean within brackets. So I have no attachments. So it means he is attached to only himself. The question is, when you say you have no attachments, are you attached to yourself? Somebody may say, I want my family to be happy. I don't want anything more. My family itself is a very ticklish word. When that word my is included, and that is the source of your happiness, you are involved, neck deep. In fact, the whole country is yours, like you felt just now. You don't own a piece of land anywhere in the Indian subcontinent. Still, it belongs to you. You don't have to have a registration documents owning any part of India. Whole thing is, entire India is yours. As long as the king was fighting for winning another kingdom of his neighborhood, it means that he has always been poor, never contented with what he had. Sannyasi, not owning even that piece of land on which he is sleeping, is peaceful. Not owning is not the thing. Disowning is the thing. Disowning is what he owns is given up. This process of disowning makes a man happy. Happiness is also not a positive thing. It's a kind of an emotion, like sorrow, sadness, and things. Happiness is not itself is a sign of a jnani. A jnani is supposed to make others happy, and himself never happy nor unhappy, but all the time peaceful. Between the sorrow and happiness, there is a state of equanimity, an equilibrium, that is peace. People usually, if they are wise, they seek peace and not happiness. Happiness is always having an origin. It has a source. Source of happiness is the thing always we used to say. Nobody says the source of peace. There is no such word in English. Source of peace doesn't exist. Source of happiness, they say. Source of my trouble. Source of my happiness. Source of all my problems. That is how we say. When there is no source on which he is depending for either happiness or trouble, he is independent of everything. If he is independent of everything, he is in peace. A man who is capable of declaring himself that he is not depending on anyone as a source of happiness, half the job is done. But what about the other half? Source of trouble. There is nothing that can cause trouble to me. Because there is nothing like depending on a source for trouble. Doesn't exist. But here comes, a question. If you are happy on account of somebody's happiness, you need not be always right. There's no rule that you are right all the time. Because the other man may be happy on account of a wrong thing. It could be so. So, you owe it to the other man to correct him and make him happy only on the right side. Should be happy with the right thing. So, sharing somebody's happiness is one thing. Being happy at somebody's happiness is another thing. Being happy at the other man's happiness for the right thing is yet another thing. Clear. Very clear. In a way, almost all these things are matters of emotion. In itself, it is not very right to be happy or to be unhappy. Both are emotions, right or wrong, whatever it is. Peace. Peace is the ultimate thing that everyone must be ambitious to achieve. One ambition in life, is the right ambition in life, is to attain peace. Not to be disturbed by anyone, but not to be disturbed by events of happiness, and not to be disturbed by events of sorrow, of course. Many things are in the stride. You must be able to take them in the stride, and never encourage any man by sharing his happiness if he is wrong. You must be able to disagree with his happiness nicely, lightly, correctly, to the extent necessary, so that he would understand why you are not happy when he is happy. This happens with your sons, your family members, brothers, or close friends, things like that. Then you have it. Then you are a complete man. Over a time, he would learn to depend on you for your judgment, your guidance, and he would care to know whether you are happy about it or not. When he is happy, slowly you are stepping into the shoes of a superior friend. Friend, no doubt, a superior friend. That's very necessary. That is how we can bring up our children, our juniors, sometimes elders in age, but juniors in experience. Could be so. Man develops a personality of his own. People would try to go near him and measure themselves. He would become a reference point. That's very necessary. In due course, we have to set an example to the others that they should come to you for finding out whether they are themselves are right or not. So this is a kind of personality that corrects others. So any kind of happiness is not all the time justified. Happiness on the right thing, for the right thing. And then coming, the next point is peace, I said. Peace is a direct result of sacrifice. Sacrifice is, many people say, as we all normally take the meaning of that word to be sacrificing the positive thinking, positive sides. I sacrifice my property, my profits, my gains, my successes, my victories, my power, my money, everything. I can sacrifice everything. The question arises, sacrifice secretly includes your negative, your failures also. I would say, can you sacrifice your failure? It may sound confusing. In other words, detachment. I am not expecting anything. I want only a non-eventful, peaceful happiness. Again, you would say. Not expecting anything, any gains or any victories again. But certainly is concerned about failures, negative things, enmities, jealousies of others. They make him unhappy. So when a man is able to sacrifice his happiness, that should include his independence from unhappiness. The events that make a man unhappy, that also should be sacrificed. On the positive side, yes, you are not ambitious, you are not avaricious, you are not jealous of others, you are contented, you are satisfied, and things like that. Contentment is something that that's a man's attitude to what he has. And he is not bothered what he does not have also. But at the same time, suppose there is a loss from what he has. Even then, it's not contentment. To be unaffected there is peace. Contentment is, so in the order of virtues, people ask you to be contented with what you have. Then next thing is contented to be what you don't have. The third thing is tranquility in spite of losses. like that rock. That rock has seen many cyclones, hundreds of cyclones. That rock, several earthquakes, remain like that. Because it has no conscience, it has no consciousness, it has no life, no senses. With all these things intact, one must be like that rock. That kind of a stability, even in the times of adversity. The example is Pandavas, for example. Sri Rama. Dharmaraja was quite tranquil when he lost everything, when he was insulted. He looked at his brothers, looked at his wife. All were cut up, terribly depressed, anger, writhing in anger, prepared to dash the other sides against the wall, if possible. This man asked them to be cool. Don't lose your cool. This is not a time to show your anger. Do not react to the situation. Take it. Everything is part of it. Take it as it comes. Then they don't know whether he is a real Kshatriya or at least he is a man that who doesn't react to what is happening. He was much more than a Kshatriya. They were just Kshatriyas. There was an element of divinity in him. That was too much for them to bear with. In other words, we cannot bear with a divine being amidst us who does not share your sorrows, who seems to be unaffected when you are sad, either because of his unconcern for you or his enormous tranquility and stability not to be rocked. Even when he is a partner to your conditions, even then it doesn't move him much, but that troubles you to a greater extent. You feel that he is insensitive to things, not reacting to things, not responding to the situation. But that is the ultimate test of a man. In this in this state of consciousness, mind, buddhi and chittam and ahankaram, the four levels of the mind, one can certainly seek God and he sees God there. The experience of God is a result of this tranquility, this equipoise. That equipoise is absolutely to be achieved only by arguing with himself, influencing his own intellect, and asking the intellect to influence his emotions. That is a two-tier system. Your simple intellect, your present logic does not go to control your emotions, likes and dislikes. You must train your intellect to be strong enough to control your emotions. That is what Vedanta does. People discuss Vedanta. Intellectually, they become stabilized. For what? That intellect, that stability that they have achieved could be able to influence their emotional levels as a human being. So there is a man in you, there is a human being in you. The man must become strong. The human being in you becomes stronger, depending on his strength. These two levels have to be clearly understood. So much of teaching and preaching on the battlefield by Krishna to Arjuna is to make the man strong, not to make the human being directly strong by his influence. Krishna did not attempt to correct the human being in Arjuna to straight away. It was the human being in him that was shaky. He was giving in to his attachments to the old elders or things like that. And what Krishna did was to make the man strong, gifted with equipoise, learned, understanding, wise and stable, so that the human being in him could be stabilized. That's a very important thing. When we discuss many issues, many things of life, we are regularly getting the benefit of the man in ourselves becoming absolutely strong and wise. When the wisdom and strength of the man is reached, the human being in him is conquered. Only wisdom remains. Where do you call this weakness? Where is it located? In your human qualities. Human being, what he is his ways, his situations. Intellect may be strong, the human being in him is a swaying, unstable thing. So there are two personalities in you. The human being should be in the control of the man in you. The man must be learned, thoroughly understand the intricacies of good and bad of life, the futility of achievements, the unimportance of a success, the importance of poise and wisdom. Then he should be able to achieve an intellectual peace first. That intellectual peace is transferred to the human being in you later. In the first stage, you seek the help of the Vedanta, the Jnana, preaching, teaching and learning, going through the scriptures and things like that. When people say, I have understood everything, sir, but I am not able to hold my feelings, not able to hold my emotions in control, I am still wavering, I am still suffering. People say, that means you are directly depending on the preaching and teaching of the others. Depend on the intellect of yours. The man in you, he is still being educated. He is still receiving what is needed in order to become a full-fledged, total, equipoised, intellectual man. The man is still yet to grow. Is yet to grow. When a man grows enough, the human being is controlled. You see, in the equestrian training, what we do is to train the man to sit on the horse rightly. We don't train the horse first. Because horse has not admitted itself, it has not applied to our institution for a job. The equestrian training is how to sit on the horse. A man must be told. If the rider is well trained, he knows how to control the horse. At the second stage, the achievement is there with you. The human being cannot be trained directly. The man, the intellectual man, I am trying to make a distinction between these two. Yes, how to sit tightly, how to give a kick on its side when it is misbehaving, or how to pat when necessary, how to make it more friendly, how to make it more controlled, obedient, when it tries not to be obedient. So you have been told about different approaches to the behavior of the animal. That human being in you is that animal. You are the rider. Your knowledge of the Vedantic secrets of life is your equestrian training. In this way, we have to read, we have to listen, we have to think, we have to judge for ourselves. Most of this education, as we all know, is being received at an intellectual level. Many people say any amount of expatiation, kind of discourses like this are not benefiting, the man is still there. Which means the man, the intellect in him, is still remaining to be educated. He remains to be educated. He has not understood all the intricacies of life. And then ability to take even the negative things. Not expecting the positive thing itself is not jnana. Ability to face negative things is part of the jnana, that stability. Then, with these prerequisites, if you sit in meditation, God is there, you are God in you. The mortal in you is separated from you. You become immortal. That is Mrityunjaya. Try to understand these things. And many people prescribe mantras. Many people prescribed kind of ritualistic disciplines. Well, all that depends on the amount of faith that you have in them. If you are good and simple enough to have faith in them, believe in them, then they may work. But today the trouble is, no one has any belief. People have shed all beliefs. And they have faith in disbelief. They think they are intellectuals. For that reason, the mankind is now not able to stand on any firm footing, either in respect of material thing, intellectual thing, emotional thing, or a spiritual subject. He is not able to stand firmly on anything. He has no attitude, finalized attitude towards anything. If you ask any man, put 100 questions. You don't have to be a psychologist. You ask him, do you believe in earning money? I don't know, but I want, he would say. Or do you believe in being very rich? Yes, I think I believe. Do you believe that poverty is not to be touched? Nowhere one should go to poverty, near poverty. Are you afraid of poverty? I am not afraid, but I don't want it, I don't like it. See, no definite answer to any question. Do you believe in good human relations between your close relatives? Yes, but sometimes they are also a nuisance, they don't like me. They don't. Do you believe in power? Suppose you are elected as the Prime Minister of this country. Do you love it? I love it, but with all the problems, with the opposition, I don't like it. I don't know whether I really like it. Ask him any damn question, he is tottering. That is childhood. Exactly what the name you give it, is called childhood. He is a grown-up child, 6 feet, 120 pounds, still is a child with 2 PhD degrees, things like that. He is not yet finalized. The whole problem arises in his not applying his mind to any problem and think, analyze, try to come to some conclusion and make himself a finalized man with reaching a finale in the discussions on any subject. Come to some conclusions, stick to them. He is not able to do it. He tries to avoid every question. Do you believe in God? Yes, I believe in God. But are you praying? I don't pray. Do you trust in God? Yes, I believe in God, but I don't know whether I can trust Him. That means he believes in the existence of God, does not believe in any kind of relationship with Him. God is like the sea, ocean before us, the rocks, the trees. God is there. So far as my relationship with Him is concerned, I am not very sure that He may let me down. So our kinds of prayers, that is exactly where a man, oh God, if there is a God, save my soul if there is a soul. Both are in doubt. And who is this fellow? Then who is praying here? To whom is he praying here? Neither the devotee exists, nor the devotion exists, nor the addressee of devotion exists. Nothing exists. That is why people are thinking believing in God is not enough. Nothing. And then the poorest, ignorant, uneducated, unlettered man in the village has a greater trust, belief, and belief in his belief also exists there. So like a proper shape of a thing makes it more stable if it is center of gravity is closer to the earth. The taller the man is, the center of gravity is away from the earth. The more educated intellectually he is, his center of gravity is far away from the earth, he is unstable. The proximity of the center of gravity to the earth is the element that makes a man stable. Intellectual growth, physical growth, mental growth, that they are not making a man stable. That's exactly where people, majority of this population in this country, were taught only faith, were taught to believe in God. The element of faith in the man was built up from childhood. That was a kind of correctly bringing up the man to be more peaceful in situations of life. Education in Shastras or Vedas did not make a man stabler. They knew it. Education is not wisdom. Wisdom is not dependent on education. Wisdom is altogether a different thing in a man. The most uneducated man is wiser. Highly educated man can be unwise. These things have been part of our culture, the upbringing of the man. What we cared for, if you really examine, we didn't care for Shastras. Absolutely not. Rather than a privilege, it was a burden of the Brahmin. Like an ass, he carried it for the society's sake, to preserve the culture and the things. When there is a reference, why do you say this, you may ask me? The Shastras that he has learnt is useful for the society, for a reference, not to himself. That's why he said carrying them like a burden. Any learning is certainly not wisdom, but it can give wisdom to the others who refer to him. So he was a preserver. He carried the burden. He did very much benefit from that. Ultimately, therefore, when he had to acquire wisdom, he left the Shastras behind, walked like a mendicant into sannyas. When it was his own achievement, a question of achieving wisdom for himself, he had to leave this ritualism, Shastras, Vedas, all learning behind him, go without it. Self-investigation, sit alone, meditate, seek the grace of God. This subtlety has to be understood. That is exactly why we find very often we find many alvars or nayanars or many great men who face to face talk with the God were not learned men. Either an innocent simple housewife or a potter or a weaver, something like that. They could speak to the God. And to analyze his state of mind is the reason for his achievement. The learning of the Brahmin would be coming in handy. It's a very great phenomenon. One have to understand these things. It's not easy to understand the Indian culture and its history. So let us pray to the God for one thing. Give me enough faith in you and belief in you, strength of heart and mind. Educate me where my mind is wavering. Make me a strong man and make that man have full control over the human being in me. Give me wisdom to control myself. That's what it means. That's what it means. Once you have developed that equanimity, that stability in your heart as a human being, you don't even need the wisdom. That is the case with the poor, uneducated people. Since you have a strong man in you, a doubting Thomas, a late Latif for everything, So 2 other religions are covered here. We can, you are, what is left to you for yourself? In you. We have to ask for the faith. God, let me believe in you. Let me say, pray, touch your feet with a flower. And take all the confidence about my future security, safety, in whatever may happen. And let all the circumstances of my life be ascribed to your grace, your care, caring for me. Not, I should never think that I am uncared for. Let me never think that I am forgotten by you. You are with me, therefore anything is happening or not happening. This attitude, this relationship with you should be your grace and not my ability. That should not my ability. That's very important, this kind of prayer. So there has always been a prayer by very wise men, praying for faith, praying for dependence, and the only dependable thing in the world. All the best to you.